Welcome to the Wildcast Podcast, coming to you from Wildcast Studios, with your hosts Adam Lund and Jeremy Boucher.
Oh, welcome back to Wildcast Studios for another episode of the Wildcast Podcast, your unofficial voice for all things Moncton Wildcats. As always, fan listeners, I am your host, Adam Lund. I didn't die on my walk home today, but of course, I am joined by your favorite co-hoster, Mr. Jeremy Boucher. And Mr. Boucher, I have an honest question for you.
Okay, is this like the quick question?
Nope, this is a different honest question.
Okay.
Are you caught up on The Masked Singer?
I haven't even watched an episode.
I was thinking about the other day, like how we went from Masked Singer every week update to...
Yeah.
We've taped the past 2 episodes. We might tape them all. We might delete them all at some point. I think when it was 2 per year, it just got to be too much.
Yeah, I'm not into it because they changed the format.
Yeah.
We used to actually have time to guess who some of these people were.
That's kind of a one and done.
And now there's no time to guess. And ever since they've went to that format, it's kind of taken the excitement out of watching the show.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll even watch this season, or I don't know if I'll be watching another season until it comes back to the original format. But I know Big Brother Canada is starting up in a couple of weeks, and the
Hell's Kitchen finished.
Hell's Kitchen finished up, and the farmer show.
Oh yeah,
how to date a farmer.
When does that start?
It's pretty soon. I don't know exactly when it is.
I think it's sometime in March. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. We actually watched Next Level Chef.
Okay.
With the 3 levels.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one. Obviously Alex won on Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that. I thought he was
good. He was good from day one.
And I think the best part about it is he went through every single challenge, but every single punishment you could go through
without complaining.
And he lost his restaurant to COVID, so it's kind of a nice little thing for him. But I forgot about that Farmer Love show.
I forgot the name of it. It's farmer something, but how to date a farmer. Basically, it's like Bachelor in Paradise or The Bachelor, but it's for farmers. And I don't know if
Farmer Wants a Wife.
Farmer Wants a Wife. That's the one. So
thanks to Google for that.
If I'll be tuning into that one.
Oh, you have to tune into that one, man. Like that is.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
But no, my Big Brother Canada is starting back up. We'll probably have Amazing Race. Maybe no, the Amazing Race is a summer thing, right? So Big Brother Canada, I think it's March 10th or something like that.
Okay, Farmer Wants a Wife was in 2008 on.
What's the name of the show?
I don't know.
I can't think. If you've been watching a lot of TV, people, you know what show we're talking about.
Oh, it's Fox.
And Farmer Wants a Wife? Farmer.
Yeah, March 8th, actually.
March 8th, yeah.
Next Wednesday.
Yeah, so we're
okay, it is called. So it was a show back in 2008, I guess, on the CW network.
Okay, so now they're trying to.
For all the hardcore One Tree Hill fans, that's the CW, and then it went to the WB. I think it's just that, like, I don't watch The Bachelor, Bachelorette. Haven't really ever got into that, Bachelor in Paradise, any of that stuff. But this just sounds like every part of a train wreck that you could want.
I think so. Yeah, you got that right. I might watch the first episode just to see what it's like. If there's an interest, I'll keep watching it. But it doesn't sound like it's going to be something that will interest me. So I'll focus more on I'll have my weekly Big Brother Canada updates here in the next few weeks.
That's a big week for our fans next week. We might get confetti in the studio.
Well,
and Farmer Wants a Wife.
Well,
I said might.
With the postponed game.
Oh, things changed a little bit.
Things have changed now, right? So
all right, we'll get into that in a little bit.
We're going to have to maybe if they get 2 wins, if they win against Bay Como and Chicoutimi, maybe we'll have some confetti, but the whole postponement in Rimouski put a
That's a big Wednesday if it does happen. Farmer Wants a Wife and that.
Confetti.
Are there any New Brunswickers in Big Brother Canada, or do you not have
They haven't released the house guest list yet.
Oh, really?
They're probably going to start doing some leaks here in the next week. So maybe tune in next week and we'll let you know. But
just for my peace of mind, it's not you, right?
I'm not saying anything.
I guess in a couple weeks, if you're
conspicuous
by your absence, as they used to say in WWE.
These are the things that you have to keep secret. And,
for sure. I tried to make sure he was going to be here or not.
I don't know. I haven't yet teased a MIA for a little bit for the playoffs, but you never know. Maybe I am on Big Brother Canada. Maybe I'm not on Big Brother Canada. We'll find out in a few weeks.
Really wish I knew if you took holidays in the next couple weeks. I know with your employer. I think that would be a good show for you. I think if there's a show that you would be, I mean, Amazing Race. I think if the two of us were on that, it'd be comedy in itself. But you think your wife would ever do Amazing Race?
Not until she gets a driver's license. Can't go on Amazing Race without driving, right?
No, she can. She's got her learners.
Well, you need a full driver's license.
Do you need a full driver's license? Okay, so if she had that, would she go on that?
I don't think she would.
Because Layla is all in. That's my biggest conundrum. Do I take Layla on the show or do I take my podcast co-host? Mm-hmm. But yeah, would Megan be on that? Is she the?
If she was on my team, I think maybe she would. But she's God bless her heart, love her to death. Not prepared for the physical challenges of being on Amazing Race Canada, but neither am I. But the whole, she's terrible at geography.
Yep.
So if there were any geography about Canada, we'd be eliminated.
How is she in reading a map?
She probably, what's a map?
Because I think that's the toughest part is you don't get phones. You got to go off a map. And we grew up looking at maps. All the kids listening to this are like, "What the hell's a map? Is that thing that spins in my teacher's room?"
I don't think
you don't get to use phones. Like you have to ask for directions or ask people to use phones. Like
I don't even think she'd be able to point Moncton out on a map.
That seems like something you got to film instead of Avery's joke of the day. Megan finds a city on the map. When we start talking about geography, it's comical. Oh, really?
She's very not good at geography. Probably the least. She thought LA was in Florida. She thought Miami was in California. And there's a few other things, did I hear the story about oh my god, what was happening? We were driving to Halifax and we drove past a car and I can't remember which state it was, but it was one of the states in the US, and she's like, "Well, isn't that in Europe? How did they get their car over here?" And I think I can't remember. Oh my god, I can't remember what state it was, but it was
trying to think
pretty
what state
funny.
Could think.
I would need to go back. I know it's the family group chat with Megan's family. It's in there somewhere, but it's long up there. It's been at least.
Is it on Facebook?
I don't think it's
family group on Facebook, or is it messaging?
It's messaging.
Oh, I was gonna say you could search it if it's Facebook.
It was a few years ago, but it was hilarious and probably one of the funnier things she has ever.
I'm trying to
said.
think what state would even have.
I don't know
the letters to think that it's. Well, I think you've United States. Because now I'm just trying to think of states that.
Let me look. Let's just start the show.
Yeah,
kind of thing, it's going to take a while, but
I think your joke of the day that's catching on.
Yeah,
I think Megan points on a map. I think you got to do joke of the day, and Megan finds a city on the map. I think that would be.
that would be pretty good. Eh?
Yeah,
I've got to find it, but no, it was pretty good. It made me laugh.
Unless it was like Oklahoma, which is okay, which you could thought UK maybe.
No, it wasn't.
That makes sense. I sure hope you find this.
I really hope I do as well, because it was very funny.
Yeah,
but maybe I'll bring it maybe next week.
Okay.
Because I know right now it's
tough to find when you're searching really fast.
Yeah.
All right. Well, don't forget to follow us on the social medias: Twitter, Moncton Wildcast, Instagram, Wildcast Podcast, TikTok, Wildcast Podcast, and on the YouTube. And if you want a joke of the day, follow Jeremy Boucher on the TikTok or the Instagrams, or do you put it on Twitter or just TikTok and Instagram?
Just TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook.
And what's your TikTok?
I don't know.
Trying to pump up your TikTok here. This is Jeremy Boucher, isn't it?
Jared Boucher 85.
Jared Boucher 85. There it is. Joke of the day with Avery, and maybe now Megan finds a city on the map. All right, let's get to the quick question. Well, we had some fun listening to some freezing cold takes. We thought they were good takes to start the year. If you want to go back and listen to them, we might put the episode back out as a freezing cold takes episode because it was delightful. It was the Wildcats season preview. A few random takes, but we'll go to some of the awards we talked about, and just if you feel good about your selection moving into these awards. Wildcats, we had Rookie of the Year. Preston Lounsbury, you had Preston Lounsbury and Steinman. I think easily those are the first two names that come to a head, but I think one name I want to put in there that isn't getting the offensive points, but has just been very good, very steady. Adam Forte-Jondro.
Yeah,
he's not. I don't think he's going to challenge those. We're going to get into the Lounsbury thing here in a minute, but I think he's in a walking boot. There, spoiled the news in a minute. What that means, I don't know, but I just think that might hurt him Rookie of the Year wise if Steinman continues to go. But I guess just what are your thoughts on Rookie of the Year?
I'm happy with what I picked. Probably the only prediction from that episode that I'm quite satisfied with.
Yeah, because that was fun listening back to that.
I don't, obviously Steinman is eligible to be Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
And at this point, I think it's, if you want to base it on age, if you don't base it on age, he's probably the front runner.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to base it on age, I would say Forte-Jondron or Lounsbury. I think those are your two obvious selections at this point.
Yeah. I just think with Lounsbury, like I said in the show, like we had predicted he may be on the fourth line with Gabe Smith and Daniel. That's where he started. He ended up getting a top six role. He's been filling in, whether it's top line, left wing, second line, center. He's kind of been filling in. Pretty decent season so far. I think he's half a point a game. 56 games played, 28 goals. So
yeah.
Pretty much, for +7 this year. So I think he's got a good shot. I mean, obviously, him in a walking boot at the Avenir Center doesn't help that, but I feel pretty good about that. Offensive player, you had Loshing. I had LaBelle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you went Loshing because you thought maybe LaBelle wouldn't be here for a full season.
That's true. I thought he was going to be one of the a trade chip.
Yeah,
but obviously that didn't happen. And I think I would have picked LaBelle if I knew he was going to be with us the full season. So I just went on, getting a solid return, and so I would have taken LaBelle if I knew he was here the whole year, but that's obviously not the case. And so I took Loshing, and I think he's fourth in team scoring right now, which still is
pretty good,
very good. Yeah,
as considering he was injured for a little while, but he stayed healthy most of the year, which we kind of talked about. If he can stay healthy, he's going to have a pretty decent year. It's funny, neither one of us took the guy who's second in scoring or was leading the scoring for a while, which leads into MVP. I did take Moran to take that next step from being Rookie of the year previous. Point a game, 56 games played, 56 points.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anybody on the team that can take the MVP from him. I think he is the MVP of this team right now. You had Barbashev. How you feeling on the Barbashev section? And we got 11 games to go, so there is still time, but that's figured it's a bit of a slow news week. Let's bring this out.
I was expecting a little more from him this year, which is why I took him as MVP. But he's also, he's playing a more complete player, a more complete game this year.
Yep.
So it's not going to be him, but again, I have nothing wrong with my pick. It's not, it's a lot better than what my second pick was, because I think my second choice for MVP was Jonas Tybell.
Yes.
And,
he was going to pop off.
That was I just had a feeling he was going to have a breakout year, which hasn't exactly been a breakout year. So my pick of Barbashev kind of looks a little better than that one, but it's that's what you get when you try to make predictions and
based off absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I think he was also your player you were looking for big things from.
Likely.
Yeah, because I had Mueller in that situation, which, I mean, they both made Swiss team, and Mueller's been that kind of player. And then we get into the league MVP, and we both went with Robidas. Or we both went with Joshua Waugh.
Yeah.
Robidas, Nadeau, Bolduc. I asked if that was going to be the top four. You threw out Jordan Dumais as the name to keep in mind. 11 games left. Is it Dumais? Has he done enough to be league MVP? Because it usually goes
God, yeah, he
usually goes to the top scorer, right?
Him and Connor Bedard are almost like
head
to head in points in the entire CHL. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's.
He's still looking for all the.
I'm still looking for what she had said.
Yeah, it's worth it.
It's definitely worth it.
And
I think Dumais is hands down the league MVP. You look at Bolduc and Rochette. I mean, they're teammates, right?
Yeah.
And
Doucette and Kidney.
Doucette and Doucette's only joined in halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Lawrence only joined in halfway through the season. Without those two guys, like Dumais all by himself.
Yeah.
He's been the Mooseheads this year, and I think he's got a chance at. If it wasn't for Connor Bedard, I think he's CHL MVP. But of course, Bedard will get it because it's Connor Bedard,
and it's his draft year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. You have to add on the accolades, despite the fact that he's already got almost everything in his book, right? But he's not going to be in the league next year, so
that's going to be a tough one because I don't disagree with you. I don't like the fact that it's Connor Bedard isn't going to get it because it's Connor Bedard. I mean, Jordan Dumais got his team within 8 points of the division of the conference. I'm trying to see what Bedard's got for goals. Not CHL Bedard, CHL leaders.
That's what I think Connor Bedard Connor Bedard's going to be the CHL MVP just because it's Connor Bedard. And
do they have to make the playoffs for that?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think do you think the CHL if Bedard has 100 whatever points and they don't make the playoffs as opposed to Dumais?
I don't think it cares. I don't think they worry about it. If anyone else other than Connor Bedard wins CHL MVP, I'll be surprised. I just think it's the political move is Bedard as the CHL MVP. It's almost as if the league will be forced to do it just to give him one more trophy, because it's going to be he's not back next year, so he's not going to win a Memorial Cup. He's not going to win a WHL championship. So give him the CHL player, MVP just to, make
give
up for it, kind of, right? So
they're sixth right now. They're 5 points up on eighth Calgary Hitmen. So they're in line to win, not to win, to make the playoffs. Yeah, I don't. Depending where he goes, I don't think he's going to be back next year. There's no real point, and even if he is back, he's going to be going somewhere that it won't be. It won't be Regina. They'll finally move on for him to get a return if he comes back. But whether he goes to Columbus, Anaheim, I don't think he'll go to Chicago. Montreal might win it. Somehow the Oilers could win it. Calgary could be in the lottery and win that. Shout out to Palche being the Flames Player of the Week. What was he for?
As voted by the fans.
As voted by the fans. You know what? It's almost like we knew. You just give him a chance, and I don't think he's playing there for an injury anymore, is he? I think he's actually earned his.
There.
Yeah,
he's playing second line minutes right now, until they make a trade, until they bump him down.
Yeah,
I don't know. At this point, I've kind of given up on them this year. They're kind of like the I'm not going to say it. got to be positive on the show.
Yes, let's be positive. One more thing before we get to the news and notes, the division prediction. We both had Halifax winning the division. You had it a little bit tighter than I did. You had a 5-point cushion for Halifax. I had a 10-point cushion for Halifax. We really felt good about this year. I went Bathurst 3rd, Cape Breton 4th, Charlottetown 5th, St. John 6th. So other than the top two, completely wrong. Mm-hmm. And you went Cape Breton, Bathurst, Charlottetown, and St. John. I think with Bathurst, I was believing that the goaltender, Bednar, was going to be back and ability to steal a couple wins down the basically to do what Robillard's doing for the Islanders.
Yeah,
is kind of what I thought. He didn't come back injury wise, so obviously that's tough to predict. I think we both said I don't think Halifax is running away with this thing.
They're running away with it.
They're definitely running.
They're
running
away with it. I didn't expect
30-point cushion.
I didn't expect them to go all in like they did.
No.
So I was.
That's what happens when you have an MVP.
That was definitely a little unexpected on my part. I didn't expect them to go this year.
No.
So
missed it by that much. But hey, that's why we do preseason shows, to see just how wrong we can be with some freezing cold takes. All right, let's get to news, notes, and around the queue.
News and notes from around the queue.
All right, well, it was a 3-game road trip. It is now a 2-game road trip, as the game between Moncton and Rimouski has been postponed due to, well, a little bit of asbestos in the, what is it, the
Colisée Sun Life.
Yeah, Sun Life Colisée. That sucks. Like, not only for the game
caught it.
Yeah, but like they're not in a position to build a new rink, and that's been a rink for quite a while.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can. I don't even know where they found it. Like, did you read the article or?
No, I didn't. I just heard it was asbestos, and man,
because it was from February 24th, so it was Friday they started looking at it. Did they have home games?
I'm not sure.
They were in Baie-Comeau, and they were in Chicoutimi, so they might have been on the road for.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if they're checking for asbestos on a Friday, they're not going to have games on a Saturday when they're doing a whole thing. I wonder if it feels like they were kind of checking in to see if, what additions or renovations they'd have to make if they were looking for Memorial Cup bid, and this can't help that.
It doesn't help. No, that doesn't help. It's, but I guess it's, I don't know, advantage Moncton? Maybe? I don't know. It's like, it's almost like, well, when Halifax came in and, kicked the shit out of us.
Yeah.
They were supposed to play in Bathurst the night before.
Yeah.
But then that game was postponed because of the storm, right? So it gave Halifax an extra day off, and they just came in that next day and
pumped us,
put a shit kicking on us. Yeah. And so I don't know, maybe the extra break. We talk about a condensed schedule. This is, we're looking at 4 days off here, and
4 days off. They don't have to slam the road trip in and take an extra day to take a little bit of extra time. A couple injury notes. If you're walking around the Avenir Center, you might have saw Preston Lounsbury in a walking boot. Spoiler, lower body injury, which kind of leads me to believe it's more than day-to-day, as Marty reported on the Wild Minute. But again, we don't know. I don't even know when it happened. I can't see him coming back before the playoffs, and I feel like I saw OJ walking around the studio. I didn't talk to him, but no word on him because for whatever reason, the team likes to be in silence due to injuries, which in some terms I get. I like what the Pats cast have done out in Regina. They actually get the reports, and I don't know if Regina puts them out, but they actually come out and say this player will be out for 2 to 4 weeks. And yeah. I don't understand the secrecy. I think it would be nice to see Thomas Auger out 2 to 4 weeks. Preston Lounsbury out 2 to 4 weeks. If that's what it is. I don't know what it is, but just something so we don't get, well, is he in? Is he out? Is he in? Is he out? It just, I don't think they'll be back for the playoffs or for the season. I think they'll be back come playoff time. I don't think you risk an injury in a game against St. John or Charlottetown that eventually will mean something, but I just don't think you see the back.
Well, it'd be nice to have a healthy lineup for the playoffs.
Yeah.
You don't get much from the team. You don't get much from the times and transcript. Honestly, like the Acadie Nouvelle has been the best source of information as of late, and maybe that's just because Mr. Irving doesn't have, I guess, ownership sake in it. But no, it's their coverage and what they say, and Acadie Nouvelle is a lot more than what you get. But no, if we can get Oshie back for the playoffs, it'd be good. Because didn't he break both of his legs last year? Now he's out again.
Yeah, he broke
Poor
one.
Guy.
He's we had Loshing in that Mika Sear area. I think Thomas Auger is in that Mika Sear area where a couple unlucky injuries last year blocking a shot. The foot was it blocking a shot or was it into the boards? I think it was into the boards.
Yeah.
And then obviously the shoulder this year. So a couple tough years of injuries for him. So obviously he's got to, we hope he stays healthy. And Mika Sear was injured for the first 2 years I was here and ended up playing in 2019, 2020 healthy and had a pretty big year with Pelche. Moving on to the team of the week. Ivan, the new captain of the Cape Breton Eagles, as they named every player who's not a rookie to their leadership group. 2 games played, 2 goals, 6 assists.
Yes, they did.
Radley Kidney, 3 games played, 3 goals, 5 assists. There's a name we had nowhere near the MVP conversation as he's kind of flourished in Gatineau. Giovanni Morneau in Charlottetown, 3 games, 4 goals, 3 assists. Tristan Leno in Gatineau, 3 games, 2 goals, 6 assists. Dylan Gill for Renderanda, 3 games played, 1 goal, 5 assists. And goaltender, it just seems like if you come through the Maritimes, you're the goaltender of the week. Olivier Adam for Sherbrooke, 2-0, 973, 0.5 goals against average, and 1 shutout. Your player of the week was Tristan Leno, as he had 2 goals, and 6 assists in 3 games. The Canada Games men's hockey portion wound up last Sunday. The games are still going on, so if you're over there, obviously get out and support them, support those athletes. But we had Ontario winning gold, Saskatchewan earning silver, and Quebec winning the bronze medal. I don't think a lot of people would have had those 3 teams necessarily in that order. But with that being said, I know you have a little bit of a treat for us for the Wildcast Podcast Team of the Week.
Yeah. That second straight Canada Games where it's a golden goal.
Yeah.
Because Ontario won in overtime. Yeah. So this week's Team of the Week, I thought I would, because I was fortunate enough to watch a lot of the hockey.
Nice.
And the commentary, I must say, was A1. There was some very, very good play-by-play. I think the New Brunswick-Quebec game was even George Matthews and Corey Arsenault calling the game. So it was.
I know
nice
Corey Arsenault did a couple of my.
Yeah.
I don't know who was doing the play-by-play though.
And so those were a couple of familiar voices. So what I thought I'd do for the Team of the Week is I better not have just deleted it. Thank God. So basically, I took one player.
What I might do for the Team of the Week is absolutely nothing because I deleted it. Moving on.
But essentially what I did is I took one player per province that is kind of within the QMJHL draft jurisdiction.
Right.
So it'd be, of course, Quebec, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, Newfoundland, New Brunswick, PEI, Quebec, New Brunswick, PEI, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Got it. Megan's kind of getting me here with my, the geography. But of course, so that's 5. I needed 6 because I needed 3 forwards, 2D, and a goalie.
Yep.
And because I am apparently biased towards maritime players, like somebody out there who listens to the show likes to tell me.
What?
I have decided to include 2 players from Quebec.
Wow.
Just to ensure that all positions are filled.
Now, before you start, are these players that are in Moncton's draft wheelhouse, whether they win the lottery or
these are players who I think improved their draft stock.
Okay.
At the Canada games. Some is, you know,
In our
there's
wheelhouse.
one that's in our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Possibly two.
Let's see if I can identify them.
Yeah. So yeah, the way it works is so my goaltender that I took is Samuel Quimper from Team New Brunswick. So because I took a goaltender from New Brunswick, I don't have a New Brunswick forward or a New Brunswick defenseman. So I took one player from New Brunswick on my team. So my goalie was Samuel Quimber from Team New Brunswick. He's at this Champions Hockey Academy based out of Fredericton. You want to talk about facing a lot of rubber?
Yeah.
This guy faced a lot of rubber. And despite finishing 8th at the Canada Games, he made a lot of big saves against very tough opponents and kept his team in a lot of games against these tougher opponents.
Right.
You know, we're talking, you know, the Manitobas, the Quebecs, you know, he won, the games were close because of him.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't, you know, it would have been just a onslaught, total blowouts. So big ups to Sam Quimper of Team New Brunswick. On D, I went with one from Quebec, Alex Huang. Reminds me a lot of, let's say, Jordan Spence.
Ding, ding. That's one in Moncton's radar.
Yeah, because right now I think he's ranked 3rd by Hockey Prospect. Ultra smooth skater. Plays with a lot of poise. I think he's going to put up a lot of points in the queue from the back end. And my second defenseman is from PEI, from the Kensington Wild, Will Murphy. I would say, you know, I've been following this league for 26 years. I would say probably the best defensive defenseman to come out of PEI in recent memory. If you need a guy to block shots, like, this is your guy. And he's already got, you know, that next level size. I think he's already 6'2" and 180 pounds. So he's already got that, you know, he's physically ready for the next level.
The Gormley version.
Gormley was a two-way defenseman.
Oh, was he? Okay.
This guy is like defensive defenseman.
Right. Okay.
Like he's gonna hurt you, kind of thing. Like he's gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
He's gonna make it tough against players in front of the net. Up front, I've got a forward from Newfoundland. I've got a forward from Nova Scotia, and then another forward from Quebec. So my forward from Newfoundland is Ty Pettigrew at the Bishop's Kearney Selects U15. I think he's got it all. He's got skill, speed, grit, finesse, vision, hockey IQ. Like, what more can you ask for in a forward? My forward from Nova Scotia, Jacob Rhino, which is probably one of my favorite last names. He's going, Gore! Small. Let's put it that way. Small. But really talented. Puck skills, hockey IQ. He's got that's like I think like a kind of like a really like a above average, I guess, skating ability, if you want to put it that way.
Okay.
And like breakaway speed. So it's tough to really compare. If he was, you know, if he was a bit of a pest, I would probably label like a Brad Marchand kind of player, because you know, he comes from the Steel Subarus organization, which was formerly the Dartmouth Subways organization, which is where, you know, Brad Marchand came from.
Right.
So Jacob Rhino. And my third forward, I'm going with Sean Carrier from Trois Rivières. I think he's, I don't think you have the rankings there, but I think he was kind of between the 10 to 15. 8. Okay, wow. Okay.
So, ding, another player in Moncton's
another
range.
player that could be potentially on Moncton's radar. He's got that Pelche size, like the 5'8", 150.
Yep.
Similar work ethic to Jacob Pelche. You know, I'll say it now. Beautiful smile. Like,
a la Pelche.
Love his smile.
Yeah.
and I think he's a complete player. I think he's got skating that's going to get to the next level. When I talk next level, I'm talking Q and further.
Oh, okay.
So it's I think it's watching the Quebec forwards. You kind of knew, I was expecting the Desnoyers to stand out. I was expecting, I was Nathan Leconte didn't exactly have a great tournament, but he was good. But Sean Carrier for me stood out of all the Quebec forwards. I just thought he was engaged every shift, and just the motor was going right, and that's what you want. The motor was always running, and he's, like I said, beautiful smile. Like I just he's actually ironically featured as like the that player profile on the Q website.
Is he?
For the draft, and you'll see what I mean. Like when I say beautiful smile, like he's got a beautiful smile. He's
just what are you looking for?
Yeah, I mean you're
personable.
I'd flip over a couple there and see.
Yeah, no, you're not kidding.
Smile,
yeah,
right?
Look at that.
He's
yeah.
got the braces too, so it's even going to be even more of a beautiful smile, right? Get those teeth fixed.
Yeah.
And great hair.
Yeah, good flow.
Great hair, great teeth, great smile.
Great player.
What more can you ask for?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't even have to worry about the on-ice stuff. He's just got that. I think he's got the persona of being. You can tell he's got the personality.
Yeah.
Right? You can tell just based on his look and the smile and his play on the ice. He's that next leader. I think that to come out of the Quebec program.
Nice tournament you expected.
Yeah, you know what? I knew New Brunswick was tough. They were in a tough group.
Yeah.
Nova Scotia was in a tough group. PEI, Newfoundland were kind of in that group with the territories and Yukon, Northwest Territories, Nunavut. So Gavin McKenna just
lit up the tournament.
Just they took care of business against PEI and Newfoundland. All in all, I think it was a great tournament. Great fans are great. The commentary was great, and I think everything I've watched has been pretty good.
Nice. It was all in Summerside, wasn't it?
Summerside, Charlottetown, or O'Leary.
Oh, okay. Because every game I tuned in for it was on Summerside, but maybe that was just the Quebec New Brunswick division was in Summerside.
Yeah,
but
the games are everywhere.
Yeah.
I thought the tournament was great. I think it was highly competitive, and like I said, like there's I was expecting more from a couple players on the Nova Scotia side and the New Brunswick side, and didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
But that gave a chance for Quimber, who I haven't got to watch yet this year. He stood out to me in nets, and Rhino for Nova Scotia has just popped off the page for me. So that's the best thing about the Canada Games is I think you go there and you look for certain players. But the other ones, there's other players that pop off, right? It's and that's the case with Carrier. It's I think whoever gets him is getting a hell of a player and maybe a future captain of the organization.
Nice. Yeah, that's the thing. You get used to like watching the NBPEI league or in the Nova Scotia league if you're there, but then when you get to Canada Games, you kind of get everybody in one area. It was good that it was streamed, because it was free streamed too.
Yeah, I loved it.
That made a big difference. Everybody's second favorite part,
Valdor report. Da-da-da.
I love that. Who needs drops when we can make our own? Valdor stayed in fourth, 48 points. Blainville is 48 points. St. John 42, and Bathurst 40. They had a decent start to their week. They beat Blainville 6-3.
Yeah, they actually they got 4 to 6 points.
They beat Drummondville 6-4, and then we don't talk about Sherbrooke.
Yeah,
10-1.
So they actually moved up a spot.
Yep.
So they're now sitting in the 4th lottery spot,
which is 2 balls.
2, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and but looking at their schedule coming up, it's not not very favorable to them, but
No.
they've shown that they can compete against some teams here. So
Yeah, Rouyn-Noranda Thursday, Victoriaville Friday, Rouyn-Noranda Sunday.
yeah, so they're in a tough week for the four, and there's room to
Drop.
and there's room for some teams that are below them to move up. And you look at St. John. St. John's got Bathurst, I think, this weekend. Sunday they play Bathurst.
Halifax on Thursday.
Well, we can't really expect much from that.
No.
The fourth
Blainville
is
plays
actually the
Drummondville.
fourth is Saturday.
Yeah.
So they've got Bathurst on Saturday, so that should be potentially a winnable game for them, and that'll get them closer. But every time we talk about teams getting closer, Val-d'Or ends up winning games. So
Blainville's got back-to-back against Drummondville, so that's
yeah,
a little tough there. But
well, if Blainville can win and win at least one, or we'll not a great week for the Val-d'Or report, but fingers crossed. It's they've got a tough schedule the rest of the way by the looks of it, and hopefully we can kind of take advantage.
yeah, and have a better shot at lottery, because it's not Bathurst, St. John, Blainville, and Val-d'Or that have their picks. I think all four first-round picks are gone. It's like Bathurst has Chicoutimis.
I've got it right here.
St. John is owned by...
So Chicoutimi has Bathurst.
Yeah.
Val-d'Or's has St. John's. So Val-d'Or could literally
win the lottery.
Win
with
the
their own-
lottery.
with St. John's pick.
We have Val-d'Or's, and Rimouski has Charlottetown's.
Who is Blainville's? Do they have their own?
Blainville has their own.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Chicoutimi is going to have compensation picks for Sacha Boisvert
Yeah.
and Xavier Veilleux. So by the looks of it, they're going to have 3 first-round picks. Moncton
So
will
of
have
the top
3 first-round
of
picks.
the top 4 picks. So who has Cape Breton's? Do they have their own?
Cape Breton has their own.
So of the top 5 picks, 3 of them are owned by other teams.
Yeah.
So a lot of teams looking at our Val-d'Or report for finding out where the teams are going to go. All right, let's get into the Weekly Rewind.
Weekly Rewind.
All right, well, this was something we hoped we'd have in the Weekly Rewind as the team finally got back into it. Again, the Weekly Rewind is presented by Local Sports Pub, looking for a great place to have some wings, beers, watch sports, UFC all month. Head to 1715 Main Street, where the Salty Sea Dog used to be. All-day happy hour on Mondays. Molson products are $5.50 a pint. Wing night every Tuesday. Pound of wings and fries for $15.99. Like I said, this is Weekly Rewind we were hoping we were going to come into. Weren't sure what we were going to get after the first one. They did win 2 of 3, bringing the record to 27-27, 1 and 2, 57 points. Second in the Maritimes, 5th in the conference. We now have a 4-point lead on Baie-Comeau, 8 points behind Rimouski, and 5 points behind Chicoutimi. Thursday, this is a game you have talked about all year, that we're going to look back, and these 2 points are very much costly. I mean, you look at this one, you look at, we've lost the last 2 of 3 to St. John. You give us 4 extra points, and we're 1 point behind Chicoutimi for 4th in the conference right now. Just on 2 losses to St. John, and it was ugly. Like, I mean, we came on here last week, and I will stand in front of Fillion, and I will defend him for not playing to the end of the earth. But that last goal by Vince Ellie, just kind of an ugly one. Or no, Giuseppe. Just kind of a spin fire, and it was kind of an ugly one. They had a bad pinch on the Reinhardt one. Break a 2-on-1. Like, I'm not faulting him on the 2-on-1, but the last one he's going to want back. And, we talked about earlier in the year, he kind of sometimes lets those kind of stinkers in. Usually they're early in the game and he bounces back. This one was with about 5 minutes left and the Wildcats couldn't come back.
Yeah, it was tough. That was probably not the greatest goal. I think he knows it, and we know it. And
helped out by Shingarov's beauty, though.
Well, that's it, right?
It was just a weird game.
I don't know what thank you is in Belarusian, but thank you.
Yeah,
that was quite the. It was nice to be on the receiving end of a turnover instead of the other way around. But it was just. Yeah, a different hockey game.
Yeah.
But I mean, if there's a positive, we gave St. John 2 points to get them closer to Val-d'Or. You know,
Yeah,
it's kind of like the plan.
yeah,
maybe.
we did this on purpose.
I don't know,
not
but
really.
It's tough. I mean, you know, we've seen it. It's
just tough when it doesn't matter losing to the teams we're supposed to lose to, but these ones. And you talked about it early in the year when we were losing to Cape Breton. Like, they're in a playoff spot because they've beaten us 5 times this year.
Well, that's it. Cape Breton would be out of the playoffs
yeah.
right now. Right?
St. John's won 2 of the last 3. They've won a few games against us. It's just like you bank those points, and we're in 4th place with a chance to fight for 3rd without having to leapfrog 2 teams, right? Like, it's just points you're just not going to obviously get back, and it's going to make it even tougher because – you know, St. John had the energy in that one. They were coming in to beat Moncton. That's their playoffs. That's their year.
Peter Reynolds came back from injury. I think they were energized by that.
Yeah.
And so that obviously helped them. You know, he's been a big part of the organization for 4 years now, and anytime you can get him back in the lineup, it's only gonna help you out, and it proved to come back and hurt us. But you know, the good thing is you know, we kind of rebounded.
Yep.
You know, we went into that game in Bathurst, and again, I'll be the first one to say that was a lot closer than it should have been.
Yeah.
You know, we should not be outshot by Bathurst. Let's put it that way.
Doesn't matter if it's back-to-back or not.
Yeah, that's just should not happen. That you know, that we're losing 2-1 to a team coming into that game that hadn't won in 14, I think it was, or something like that. It's that it was a tough. It was good to get the win, but you also kind of were like, damn, like, you know, that should have been a dominating effort, a dominating performance.
I think 2-1 is a little bit closer too, because didn't we have 2 goals?
Yeah, we had 2 goals called back. Yeah,
makes a bit of a difference. It's maybe 4-1 instead of 2-1, but I mean, we ask for him to, you know, keep fighting and keep coming to work, and that's one where Steinman kind of bails us out, being outshot by Bathurst, keeping it close. But again, you allow the teams that we're supposed to beat to stay close and hang around, and we lose to St. John, and we almost get upset by Bathurst. And you get upset by Bathurst, and you've got a massive rant had we lost to them. We go in Sunday, 3-3. We finally took advantage of a team on a 3-3, dominating them, carrying most of the play. I mean, the second period, we had 13 shots before they had 1. They scored on that 1. It was a power play goal. It is nice to see a pass go across the ice and hit the back of the net. Not against us, but it's nice to see when power plays kind of convert. But again, that was one that Shawinigan kept coming back, and Moncton finally were able to kind of shut the door. And again, I sent it to you to tweet out. I mean, this team is 19-1 when leading after 2 and 10-0 at home.
I don't understand it.
Like 19 wins of 27 because they're leading after 2 periods. And it took a lot for me to even send that to you with, a minute and 30 left in the third period. And I even prefaced it with capital if we hold on to this thing. It was good to finally see a team on a 3-3 and the Wildcats take advantage of a team on a 3-3. But something that continues to plague this team, and it happened in the St. John game. I saw the highlight on the Vince Ellie second goal. It happened on the Kananika goal and the Courteau goal. They can't get the puck out of their zone, and it ends up in the back of the net. And it's just, both goals were just kind of a mess. And it's like they try to tip it off the boards instead of going glassing out, which maybe that's because they kept getting penalties that way. But kind of seems like when they can't chip it past, they go into scramble mode, and they're like, what do we do? And they get out of their defensive structure, and they get trapped in those shifts where it's either a penalty or a goal, and more often than not lately, it's been a goal.
Well, I'll be a little positive on this game, and what I liked about this game was...
I was positive.
Yeah, I like the punch back.
Yeah.
You know, you go up 2-0, and then it's 2-1, but then it's 3-1. Like they were always there to get that next goal to restore the 2-goal lead.
Yep.
And recently, when that's happened, it was fold. It was, they would fold. They would feel the pressure, and they would just cave in. And then you're at the end of when the final buzzer sounds, you're on the losing end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So this game, they actually had the spark, the counter punch,
Get
right?
the next save to get the next goal.
Exactly.
Giving up the goal, and now you're tied.
They got the save that they needed to go out and get that next goal to always have that sense of insurance, which I thought was good. It was it was a pleasant change, and I put something together after the game on St. John against St. John, just because I was frustrated. I was damn near close to not necessarily calling it quits here, but just it was close. I wasn't very happy with the performance, and I think I've said many times on this show, Adam, I've been a Wildcats fan since day one.
Yep.
And I remember going downtown to witness the the unveiling of the logo, and I even remember the exact date. It was June 19th, 1996. And I remember Mr. Irving promising, I'm going to bring a Memorial Cup to Moncton. And I remember all the home openers at the Coliseum. He would stand on the carpet before the opening face-off and promise to bring a Memorial Cup to Moncton. And we've been close, and we've been close on a few occasions, but we're still waiting for our moment, right? And over the course of 27 years, we've had some really good teams, and we've had some not so good teams, and I think everyone can agree with that. Honestly, we've been able to witness great players develop here, and move on to successful NHL careers. We're talking Corey Crawford, Brad Marchand, Connor Garland, and I'll say this because if Dobson's listening, he'll laugh. Ivan Barbashev, just to name a few. Yeah. We've had captains who have played their hearts out every shift. David Como, Chris Godet, Chris Morehouse, Matt Eagles, Steve Johnson, Peltz, Huddy. And we've had coaches that get the best out of other players. We're talking Danny Flynn. We're talking Ted Nolan. We're talking even John frickin' Torchetti, But, unfortunately, we're just not seeing that sort of effort and compete level from certain players. And we're not seeing that from the coaching staff, really, for past 2 months.
Yep.
And it just makes you think, was Frankie Iasenza and Thomas Darcy that friggin' valuable to the team? That things have just gone, they've almost gone downhill ever since the trade deadline. And keep in mind, I kind of wrote this after the St. John game, and so to go out and get a couple wins, against Bathurst and Shawinigan was great. But what we've seen recently is it's disheartening. It's Richie always talks about, the Wildcat way, doing things the Wildcat way. I don't think this is the Wildcat way. And I know him and Marty talked before, I think, the Bathurst game. And Richie admitted himself, he's not happy. And I think he can speak for some others in the organization that they're not happy either. And it's, I can, as sad as it is to say this, I can confidently say, this is one of my least favorite teams in the 27 years of Wildcats hockey. And that's saying a lot, and I get messages, Adam, that on Twitter that all we do is complain. and but seriously, like, what have we had to celebrate about lately?
Yeah.
There hasn't been anything or much to really, get excited about. It's just been a lot of down, a lot of losses that should be winnable games. For God's sakes, I thought we were going to be 5 points behind Halifax. And when I said that in August, I honest to God thought it would be that close.
Yeah.
We're being outplayed by teams that we should be dominating. As simple as that. And we're losing games that we should be winning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I don't know about you, but when I was younger, I had a few sit downs with my parents because I did something bad.
That was perfect. That was perfect.
You turned out well.
Absolutely not.
They would. My parents would say something along the lines of, we're not upset. We're just disappointed.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Right?
Yeah. Heard that a few times.
That's how I feel about the Wildcats right now.
Yep.
It's
I'm
disappointed, and I'm not sitting here, calling out players. We're not dropping F-bombs.
No.
Stuff like that.
Family show.
Yeah. I'm just trying to, I guess, show my love and my passion for this organization. And we have a month left in the regular season, followed by the playoffs. And there's not much time left for the players and the coaching staff to show that same passion that I have and that same love that I have on the ice. Mm-hmm. There's 11 games left.
Yep.
10 games left, 11 games left. We can still catch Chicoutimi. We can still catch Rimouski to get that home ice advantage. And if it happens, great. If it doesn't, it's going to be a disappointing season. And I think it already is a disappointing season. But what happened, in Bathurst is a positive step. And what we saw against Shawinigan was a positive step. So I think the team needs to really build on that. Mm-hmm. And they need to come together now. I honest to God think we caught a break with that Rimouski game. Because that's going to give us, 4 days off.
Yep.
The game in, I'm not sure which game is first.
Baie-Comeau.
They'll probably drive up there on Wednesday. So they're going to have.
They don't have to rush to get the ferry.
They don't need to rush to get the ferry. They can get off the bus and stretch their feet out. Is the ferry even open, or they have to go the long way? I don't even know. Anyways,
we don't report to Baie-Comeau.
We don't. Well, we do. I would.
Oh man, now that they're not playing Rimouski, that'd be a hell of a Wildcats road trip.
Yeah, it would be. I'd report to Baie-Comeau.
Yeah.
Try that poutine that Richie said was at the rink, right?
Yeah.
But no, look, I just wanted to say a few words about how I've been feeling lately. And when I say a few words, over 400.
Yeah. Can I piggyback off that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm right there with you. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Every year that the time I moved here, the reason I wanted to move here, I started following the team in Alberta. Mm-hmm. I started on an app, and I would wait for Wednesday to answer the trivia questions to get the points for the app. I played NHL 20, well, I guess that would have been NHL 17 now, to learn the players. You see us drop the Pelche making his NHL debut all over the place. Denoyer making his NHL debut all over our social medias. We're updating Hudson. We're updating McKenna every time. I think this team and this organization needs to have an organizational shift. It needs to be community again. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't feel like when Cape Breton has a restaurant night where they had a restaurant night. St. John has a restaurant night where the players help out at restaurants. when I moved here, I was 2 days away from that. I missed that by 2 days. I was going to go, never being here. They used to do that at Montana's, I believe. They had the breast cancer at Shoppers, where they had different players at different places. It just seems like this team is just so disconnected from the fans, and I think that's what hurts the fact that, I mean, St. John on their Instagram is having ask a question for a player. The Mooseheads have ask a question and they answer these questions. It seems like they want to be this, and they're a first-class organization. They do everything first class. Don't get us wrong. Except for the player-fan relationship. And that's why I started this thing. Thank God you didn't leave. Was to bring that level of fans to the game and coverage and stuff like that. And it just, I've had season tickets every year since I moved here. I've bought playoff packages every year since I moved here. I haven't spent a dime on the playoffs yet because I really, we talked about it after the show last week. I have a hard time, depending who they play, picking them to get out of round one. And I'm with you. Like it's such, we came in with such high hopes because it was year 3 of that rebuild, and we had the COVID rebuild, which I think kind of murkied the waters on what this team was going to be coming into the third year. I think there was too many expectations because we played a truncated season in 2020, 2021. We played a kind of a half season last year, a little bit more games, but I think maybe this feels more like year 2 of a rebuild, and maybe we came in with too much expectation, but it's just been, I mean, you look at this second half, winners of 5 and 6, losers of 9 of 10, winners of 2 of 3, lose of 3 and 4, now win of 2 of 3. What's the next shoe to drop? Like, you were looking at those 3 games, like, if they can stay on this roll, they've got a shot, and they absolutely have more of a shot to get into the playoffs, or to host a playoff series right now, being 5 points behind Chicoutimi with 2 big games coming in. But it just feels like there is a massive disconnect between the fans and the team. And I hate to say it, it's you know, the Avenir Center is great, but guess what? The shine's worn off that. And Chris has been on the show saying the shine's worn off that. Hugo Bernier, I believe his name is, the new GM. He's got a lot of work because it's got to be an organizational shift. It's got to be from top down. I don't mean the guy signing the checks. I don't mean the general manager, coaching staff maybe. But you got to connect with your fans again, because I get so many messages about how they'd rather be in the Coliseum because there was more of a family feel. And it just doesn't, other than Sunday Funday family feels, it doesn't feel like that. It's got to be more family, community oriented. And I think that's where we're all disappointed. Is it just, I don't feel connected to this team. So I think it's easier to be disappointed because I don't have the disconnect that I had in 2019, where they had events, where they had fun things in the game. It's so corporate at the Avenir Center now. It just, I 100% feel you on that.
Yeah. Honestly, that was written in frustration. You know what? And
I think if you took 50 people and told them to rate their frustrations, I bet 50 of them would come up with something just like that.
It's written from the heart. You know, it was sitting in front of my computer, 9:00 at night, drinking a coffee, and I never drink coffee at 9:00 at night.
That's how you know it's serious. He was up at 9:00 at night.
That's true. You asked me earlier if I was going to the Flyers game
at 8:00.
At 8:00, and I'm like, no, it's past my bedtime.
Yeah,
you know, and it's if I'm still awake at 10:00 on a weekday, there's something wrong.
Yeah,
and by golly, there was something wrong, because I went to bed at 12:30 because I was writing that, and I just I was like, please, I wrote that out, and I was like, knowing I'm going to do this and they're going to win the next 2 games, and they did. So that's why I made it a point of saying, play like you did against Bathurst, play like you did against Shawinigan.
Yeah.
And they're going to win games, but
we've seen this team play well against teams they're supposed to lose to. So figure it out. This is a 2-game playoff series. This is a 2-game playoff series. If you want a shot at hosting and not having to go on the road,
these are must wins.
And 11 games left, and it actually sets up nicely. The fact that they're not playing Rimouski, they got 4 days off now, then they got 4 days off. So there's nothing to worry. Like, empty the tank in Baie-Comeau and Chicoutimi on the Saturday, Sunday, because you've got the week off till St. John on the following Friday. Then you've got Halifax. Then you've got a week off. Or, no, then you got a couple days off. But you got 2 kind of full weeks before you play games. So there's no excuses not to open the tank. And we haven't bought playoff tickets myself, but it's because I don't know what I'm going to get. And I don't feel like spending more money than I've spent before on playoff packages for them to be out in 5 games and put my money in the bank of Moncton, the bank of the Moncton Wildcats, when I can just keep it in mind and go next year. And I'm looking at flex tickets. I literally was looking at 6 flex tickets. That's the level. When they lost to St. John, that's the level I was at. 6 tickets for games 3, 4, possibly 6 if they get there. That was kind of it. And, they won 2 games, and that's how this season's going to go. It's going to be a roller coaster, and we're in for a bumpy ride, folks. But yeah, it's for me. It's got this Hugo Bernier. It's got to figure it out. Like it's got to be, and I feel better that he's from an actual hockey than using it as a stepping stone to find an Irving job. He's been with Claude Riviere. They got a pretty good thing over there in the ECHL. I joked on the live. We're available, man. We got ideas. Something's got to change.
Yep, I agree.
So
I agree.
All right, you ready for everyone's favorite part of the show?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe that was everyone's favorite part of the show.
Probably was.
Eric Murray, realtor, buy our house from him. Stick tap of the week.
Okay, so this one's going to be winging it a little bit because in my preparations for this episode, I usually prepare for my team of the week and my stick tap. However, that rant made me forget to do a stick tap.
Yeah.
So I'll bring it back to what I mentioned earlier in the show about the coverage of the hockey at the Canada Games and just how openly available it was and how well it was.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who it was, but I know I listened to a couple games that was it was. I don't know who it is. He might have been the play-by-play for the Summerside Western Capitals, but it was really well done. And I know there was a few games that had George Matthews, a couple games that had Corey Arsenault, and just the overall, product of the hockey event at the Canada Games was A1, and to be able to watch it for free.
Yeah.
That was, I really enjoyed that because clearly I'm a cheapskate, when I say that.
That's a lot of hockey to pay for, though.
It is, but, they charge you for the Monctonian, they charge you for the Ice Jam, they charge you to watch the U18 in Quebec now, they charge you to watch the Gatorade Challenge, which will be in Blainville at the end of April, I think it is. You've got to pay to watch these players now. And this actually allowed me to get an idea of what's available out there and not having to break the bank. When I say break the bank, a tournament pass for the Monctonians $30 to stream, but I think you know what I mean. I'm not.
But you add up the Monctonian, the Ice Jam, the Gatorade Challenge.
You're looking at like $150 to get an idea of what's out there, and this is the event, right? This brought all the players together, and the Gatorade will be the next event that brings all the players together. So I've seen enough. Like I know who I like, and I know kind of who I want. But there's those. Once you get into the 5th rounds and the 6th rounds and the 7th rounds, you're probably a little lost there. But honestly, I thought it was well put together. By the sounds of it, the games as a whole have been really well put together. The women's hockey starts this week, and Team New Brunswick not off to a
hot start. Having
to face Quebec in game 1's not not always good, but honestly, I was impressed. It was the quality, the picture quality was really good. What the games that didn't have the play-by-play or commentary, it's like you were sitting in the rink because you heard the hits.
Yeah.
You heard the goal celebrations. You heard the fans. And I think, was it a Nova Scotia game I was listening to?
The first one you sent to me, I didn't even listen to it because you're like, there's no broadcast. I'm like, all right, I'll listen on mute.
Yeah. There was, I think it was a Nova Scotia fan. Oh, my God. But every time something good happened to Nova Scotia, whether it was a save or even when they cleared the zone, woohoo! Woohoo! That's all you heard on the broadcast.
That's somebody's grandma. That's somebody's hockey grandma. Yeah, that's a hockey grandma right there.
It's all you heard was wahoo and yeah.
Yeah, that's a hockey grandma right there.
And it's I was like, this is amazing. And it's even like, just clearing the puck out of the zone.
Yeah.
It was just, they were ecstatic. And I was like, this is the best part. Like, I can live without play-by-play if I get to hear this Nova Scotia fan all game. But that's it, man. Like that's pretty much where I want to go with this one. And it was really, really good hockey. And I'm looking forward to hopefully having some of these players in our team next year.
Yeah, I got an honorary one.
Do it.
The Schwinnigan fan club.
Yeah.
The
Schwinnigan Cataract.
Yeah.
Because of spelling error on the.
The Schwinnigan fan club. Putting a bus trip together. Kind of goes back to what I was talking about fan and community wise. It works out when you play 3 games in 3 nights in Charlottetown, Bathurst, and Moncton. But to see all that yellow, it's kind of cool to see a fan bus being put together. And I did look at how much they cost, and they were a little cheaper than I thought they were going to be. And to make it work, we'd probably have to have about 50 fan listeners. I think we could do that. Insurance-wise, might be a little tough. But to see that level of community and team support for a team that, a lot of those fan buses, that's a long way to drive on a bus to watch a team that might win 1-2 games. It was very cool to see that. So honorary stick tap to them.
The Stick Tap Week, sponsored by Eric Murray Real Estate with the RE/MAX Avante team. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Greater Moncton or surrounding area, make sure to check him out on social media or give him a call at 506-863-8802.
All right, and that brings us to the Wildcat of the Week, presented by Rosemary Lynn Massage and Spa. Her February 15% deal has expired, but they will have deals or something in March. Just stay tuned to our social medias as well as theirs. But they do still have the loyalty card, which you get 9 spa services, get the 10th free. So if you'd like to take advantage of that, give them a call at 506-830-1224 or drop in for a visit at 1224 Mountain Road. The Wildcats of the Week goes to a player that, we've been a little bit tough on in the past couple weeks. But this past weekend, when the team needed the leadership after the St. John game, he came through offensively, big hits, making things happen. He's got 2 goals, 2 assists in both games for 4 points. And that player is number 79, Mr. Baudouin, Charles Baudouin. That'll do it for this week's show. Again, the Wildcats are on the road this weekend. Baie-Comeau and Chicoutimi back-to-back. No game against Rimouski's. That's been moved to March 15th due to asbestos. Look, playoff tickets are on sale. If you're a season ticket holder, I think that ends March 1st, so you still can now get playoff tickets, whether you want the package or you want the flex tickets. Depends how you feel on the hockey club. We just don't know who. We just don't know where it starts. But they will make the playoffs. And if you're looking for playoff hockey that isn't Moncton right away, by the time you hear this, Game 1 will be over for the Flyers. Game 2 will be in Bathurst. And Game 3 will be this Saturday at 7:30. You should be awake for that, eh?
I hope so. 7:30 on a Saturday?
Yeah.
As long as the beer's running at the fourplex, I'll be there.
Beer is running. If you want to catch on some good hockeys, the Moncton Flyers get set to defend their TELUS Cup championship. The road began on Tuesday. Head to the Superior Propane Center, Flex Place, fourplex. That building with 4 ice surfaces in it. And you can see some Flyers hockey. For Jeremy, I'm Adam. Have a good week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Wildcast Podcast. Follow us on social media at Moncton Wildcast.